The honourable member from Wellington Halton Hills.
Mr. Speaker, it doesn't matter what the government thinks about Bill C-234. It doesn't matter what the Senate thinks about the bill, because taxation and spending are the exclusive right of this House, not the Senate. In our system, there is no taxation without representation. Section 53 of the Constitution says all financial legislation must originate in this House. Standing Order 80 says that this House alone grants aids and supplies. When will the Prime Minister direct his representative in the Senate to respect this democratic institution, the only democratic institution in this country, and pass the tax bill?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I mean, the irony coming from the other side of the House is almost too thick to handle today when we hear members' office talking about respecting democracy or democratic institutions. There's a pattern of behavior here that I thought was, maybe just with the Leader of the Opposition. I didn't expect it from the member from Wellington Halton Hills, but as he would know, there are no Liberal senators on this side, only Conservative senators. The Senate is independent. Unfortunately, they're bullying senators to force them to step back, and that's totally unacceptable, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member from Wellington Halton Hills.
Mr. Speaker, we used to live in a country where the governor regularly ignored bills passed by the elected Legislative Assembly. We used to live in a country where the appointed upper chamber used to regularly ignore bills passed by the elected lower chamber. That was a country long, long ago whose institutions were abolished after the rebellions of 1837. But now the unelected Senate thinks it's some sort of Chateau, clique, or Tory compact, ignoring a tax bill passed by this elected House. Again, when will the Prime Minister direct his representative in the Senate to respect the right and will of this House and pass the tax bill?
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, speaking of respecting the will of this House, perhaps the Leader of the Conservative Party would like to talk to the Conservative senators that sit in his caucus and ask them to pass the bail reform bill that was passed by this House of Commons. The Leader of the Opposition thought it was so important that he was going to recall Parliament last summer to pass it, and Conservative premiers regularly talk to me about the importance of passing that legislation. So perhaps he'd talk to the Conservative senators about that important bill to keep Canadians safe.
Hear, hear.